Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Monday, the 16th of October, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number one, the S&P ASIC 200 closed down at 0.4% today to 7,027 points. The banks led the way lower, with all big four dropping around 0.5%, or a bit more in fact. The energy companies did well, with Woodside and Santos both rising, while the big miners also moved forward. Rio Tinto closed up more than 1%. That was on the back of higher iron ore futures. The big retailers were generally lower, while gold digger Newcrest Mining, fresh from last week's shareholder vote that green-lighted Newmont Resources' bid, jumped 3%. Fletcher Building came out of a trading halt and its share price fell 8%, the worst of the top 200 today. In the bond market, the Commonwealth of Australia launched a new 31-year bond, the longest ever offered. It has a coupon rate of 4.75%, so you could buy into the bond, let's say spend $1 million, and each year for 31 years you could get $47,500. Story number two, Albemarle Corporation has dropped its bid for lithium explorer Liontown Resources, beaten by the looming shadow of Australia's richest person, Gina Rinehart. Albemarle bid $3 a share for Liontown, but in recent weeks, while due diligence was going on, Rinehart built up a 19.9% stake. That's pretty much enough to block any takeovers, so US-based Albemarle walked away on the weekend. Liontown was in a trading halt today, but its share price closed last week at $2.79, which is about twice the level it was ahead of the bid. The decision to walk away raises questions over where Liontown will find the $1 billion or so needed to get its first production out of its Kathleen Valley mine in central Western Australia. Story number three, crypto exchanges in Australia will soon be required to hold a financial services licence issued by ASIC, as the regulator pushes to protect customers following the failure of crypto exchanges like FTX. Digital asset platforms that hold more than $5 million Australian dollars, or $1,500 for an individual, must get a permit from ASIC. The rules will also include custody and transaction standards that the government said are based on frameworks used in the UK, Canada and Singapore. That's according to Bloomberg. Australia's big banks this year have restricted access to digital asset platforms, worried about scams. The ABA, that's the Australian Bankers Association, today came out and said the announcement was a step in the right direction to avoid scams. Story number four, a few leadership changes in corporate Australia today. At Westpac, Chair John McFarlane is stepping down. His replacement will be Stephen Gregg, who is currently Chair of Ampol. The boss of Qantas's loyalty team, Olivia Worth, who was beaten to the CEO job at the carrier by Vanessa Hudson, well, she's quit. Probably not a surprise, that one. Worth joined the Myer board last week and will leave the airline in February. And at Sky City Entertainment, the struggling gaming group, CEO Michael Ahern will step down after 3 years in the job. And finally, story number five, Joe Biden has warned Israel against reoccupying Gaza, but promised that the US will send everything it needs to fight Hamas. I think it'd be a big mistake, the US president said on 60 Minutes in the US in his first major public remarks on restraining America's ally. Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005, and while Biden supports the destruction of Hamas, his administration remains committed to a two-state solution, which includes a Palestinian Authority. Earlier, the US said it was sending a second aircraft carrier to the region and increasing the number of fighter aircraft to 100. Meanwhile, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu again vowed to demolish Hamas as his troops prepare to move into the Gaza Strip. Hospitals in Gaza are running low on water, medicine and fuel. Supplies could run out any time, and the United Nations group said it has run out of capacity to help Palestinians with no water, wheat or fuel being allowed into the area for the last 8 days. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 16th of October, 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.